let's dive in here. So beyond VirusTotal, modern threat intelligence without the Google price tag is what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Amy Pace. I'm a senior product marketing manager here at Reversing Labs. Been here now for 2 years. Worked in the cybersecurity industry space for, let's see, over 15 years now. Actually started out as a sales engineer, then moved over to the product side, product management, product marketing, where I am right now. And with that, I will pass it over to Vosh.
Hey everyone, great to meet you. My name is Vosh Shariari. I'm an account executive over here at Reversing Labs. Been here for a little under 3 years now, and have been kind of working with a lot of similar people in the space around VirusTotal, what they've been hearing, things of that nature. So can always shed some color on some of the things we've heard in the field.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, I'm Andy Lewis. Thanks for joining. Background is IT ops, IT security ops. I was a Marine for many years. So, John, if you're out there, hey, thanks for joining. I think it's been a long road for me. I went from ops to being a sales engineer and am now a technical marketing manager. But I think one of the things that is going to come up, we'll talk about. I've been a Reversing Labs customer 3 times, and I'll expand on that thought after we get going here. But thank you for joining. Amy?
All right. Yeah. So today, we're going to be talking about the challenges that VT customers are facing, what we are hearing directly from people coming to us, how we can address those specific challenges. We'll do a quick demo, and then of course Q&A. We'll save some time for Q&A at the end. All right, about Reversing Labs, if you're not familiar with us, I'm not going to go over everything here, but the point I like to make here is, since our inception over 16 years ago, our core, what we have been focused on and continue to focus on is file security, identifying malware. It's what we do, and we're really good at it, and it's why over 60 cybersecurity vendors trust our reputation data and intelligence to power their products. And so, it is at the very core of what we do. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We do what we do, and we do it very well. All right, so this slide, and Andy's going to chime in here, I'm sure, but we have seen a huge spike in customer inquiries coming to us looking for an alternative to VirusTotal. And as probably most of you are aware on this call, VirusTotal, as it was, is VirusTotal Enterprise is no more. Upon renewal, it's now part of this Google Threat Intelligence bundle. It's kind of like, if you want VirusTotal, you're going to pay for all this other stuff too. And so that's led to what we have found, a lot of VirusTotal customers who aren't real pleased with that. And we have, like I said, seen a huge spike in interest in inquiries of how we can transition them from VirusTotal to our platform. And Andy, did you want to chime in here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this slide, I was at Black Hat in our booth, and Tuan, I see your hand. We'll get back around to you here. But I've done a lot of shows. I've been around, and when this thing popped up, we had people, you could see the light bulb go off, and they'd motor on over and they'd ask us about it. So it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of emotion out there. So
yeah, and Vosh can attest to that as well. I mean, he's fielding most of those inquiries.
There you go.
Okay, so before we really dive into everything, we want to start with a quick poll here. So, what's the biggest challenge you face with VirusTotal or your current threat intelligence solution provider? And this type of feedback really does help us.
All right. Looks like people are filling it out. That's cool.
All right.
Fun to watch those
give it
numbers change.
yeah, we will give it a little bit, and then pull those results up. I have a feeling of what these top results are going to be. And I'm not controlling the slide, so do we, once we have those results, are you able to bring those up? Yes. So, yep, this is exactly what we have been hearing. So the rising unpredictable cost, yeah, right now, I mean, that is the number one thing that we are hearing from customers, VT customers looking to make that switch. In the past, before all this Google threat intelligence, we would get inquiries, still a lot of inquiries around, VT, not able to analyze certain files, or privacy concerns. Now, actually, I will probably jump to the next slide here that kind of validates that. But we've always gotten inquiries around VT and some issues that customers have had with them, again, around the results, file size limitations, context and clarity in those results, false positives, privacy being a really big one, lack of support. But as I mentioned at the beginning, the rising cost, and now with you are, upon renewal, if you're a VT customer, being forced into this Google Threat Intelligence GTI bundle, that has become the number one reason. And so, that's what we're here to talk about today. How we address, how we address these issues, and how we do it, at a much more affordable price than what Google is presenting to customers.
And gang,
Yeah.
sorry, Vash, there is, if there's something missing here, just throw it up in chat. I'm keeping an eye on that. Otherwise, showing about 16 people responding, please respond if you can. And, that'll help tailor the discussion, right? Because we don't want to talk about something you guys don't want to talk about. So sorry, Vash, go ahead.
We definitely want to address the top concerns, the real world concerns that, customers are facing.
100%. And I'd just like to add to all that is what we've been seeing. We've been getting an influx of inbounds from all different verticals and industries. And what the common thing I've seen from all these inbounds of people looking for alternatives is they love, everyone that's come to us has loved VirusTotal. It's been a well-known tool in the community for years. But what we've consistently heard is what you guys have kind of said in the polls is these rising costs of Google Threat Intelligence bundles has kind of caused people to kind of look for different alternatives. And what these organizations started searching for alternatives, what they really wanted was something that wasn't a heavy lift or a long, painful migration. They were kind of looking for something that could easily slot into their existing workflows, something that felt like a seamless replacement rather than like a complete reinvention. And so that's where we've been able to help. Customers found that moving over to our platform was straightforward. The integrations were simple and fast to set up. But what they really learned from that process was that they didn't just get a replacement, they kind of got an upgrade. And there were a few different things that we found in our bake-offs, POVs, things of that nature that really surprised some of our current customers, which was kind of a stronger coverage, a higher malware efficacy. What we found is our repository of malware and goodware, which we've kind of developed over the years, is a lot larger than VT. And so it's allowed us to have a lot higher efficacy. We can see and convict threats that would otherwise slip through in usual noise cases, and kind of deliver a lot less noise, fewer false positives, so your teams can trust the results and move faster, and clear and accurate final threat verdicts. What we've seen is VT was kind of using a lot of different AV engines, and it will kind of relay if something's suspicious, benign, malicious, and all of these things would kind of give different results. And we're able to kind of give a clear, accurate threat verdict, so you're confident in what you're kind of getting.
Yeah. With VT, you get these different, results from the different AV vendors they use that aren't always up to date. And it's kind of up to you to decipher really what that verdict is. Some might say it's good, some might say it's bad. some might say suspicious. So that lack of clarity is definitely something we hear about. But I think you made a really good point, Vosh. While now the key reason customers are coming to us at this point, we hear it price, but then they get here and they see, oh my gosh, we didn't know you guys had all this, and what we do is, it is in a sense an upgrade from what they had with VirusTotal. So yeah, I think that is a really good point.
All right. Well, I think it doesn't look like we're seeing a lot more movement on this. So I've still got the poll up in front of me. I don't know if it is something we can take down. Tim Hall, big shout out, buddy. Glad you can make it.
All right. Yeah, and so this is one of the quotes I love, because this, the CEO at WireSpeed is a managed detection and response service company. So Tim Malcolm-Vetter, he actually went out and did his own independent study and analysis of like 5 or 6 threat intelligence reputation service vendors, including VirusTotal, including us, and a handful more. And we actually, when we get to the additional resources section, we can link to that report. But he did all this on his own. And of course, he looked at VirusTotal first. I like his wording here, the Kleenex of file reputation. But then, he looked at us, and I think at the time he maybe wasn't as familiar with us. And, his quote, "ReversingLabs blew us away." I mean, I think that's quite telling. It was, he made comments about the quality of our data set and our analysis, and, the fact that we are easy to integrate. We provide those fast, definitive verdicts, and it was, at a price that they could actually afford. All right. So again, we have we actually have a customer story that we'll link to about WireSpeed, and also with that, you can actually go to their site and look at this, this report they did on all the vendors and their capabilities. So I highly encourage you to take a look at that. All right. So are we moving on here? Okay, sorry. So first and foremost, as I mentioned in the beginning, since our inception, this is what we do: file reputation, file intelligence, identifying malware. We have a vast data corpus, over 400 billion samples here. But it really isn't just the size of our repository, but it's about the quality of that data. Anybody can talk about, oh, we've got hundreds of billions of files, but it's the fact that, every sample that comes into, to our data corpus. And let me back up a bit. We don't rely on crowdsourced intelligence. We have we have our in-house threat research team. We have a very expansive network of security vendors and partners. So we're doing this really curated file harvesting. We're all harvesting these files from trusted sources. So I like to say that you are getting this definitely validated malware intelligence, if it's malware or goodware. And going back to the fact that every sample that comes into our database, I mean, we are vetting that, we're validating that. It's going through our complex binary analysis engine. And what that is, and we have, I didn't put a slide on here about that. I'll just talk to you about it a little bit. Andy, you can chime in as well. But what it does is it's a high-speed static binary deconstruction engine, or again, a proprietary engine where, we are able to, remove all the packing from a file, deobfuscate it, always have problems with that word, to expose all the internal objects, all the child objects, and all of their corresponding metadata. So we get down, I'd like to say, to the true intent and capabilities at a DNA level. We are breaking those files down to their base elements. So providing, I think now, we have providing over 20,000 unique file behavior indicators. And this is information that's not available in other tools. because they are not going through this fully recursive analysis to, to break down these files. And so that is a really core differentiator with us, is that our samples are truly validated. And that's why we are trusted by so many cybersecurity vendors, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies.
Yeah, and actually,
go ahead, Bosch.
yeah, so we were talking to a security software provider where their whole bread and butter is making sure that their efficacy and coverage is the most important factor to them. So they were actually willing to pay the Google Threat Intelligence bundle to keep that coverage. When they did a bake-off with us, at first I told them, look, our repositories of malware and goodware is far bigger. He said, I don't care about that. Let's see in a bake-off where our coverage is, where the efficacy is. And he found that we actually surpassed what they were getting. They enhanced their capabilities, and that was really blowing him away, as well as getting a discounted price. So that was one of the biggest takeaways we got from our bake-off there.
Yeah, and and the fact is, we have likely seen what other vendors might classify as unknown. We will likely have all the data and verdicts on that, just because of again the vastness of our database, and how we are going through this analysis and classification of these files. And and it's a continuous process. So we're adding millions of files a day. I think we were analyzing 20 million files a day. So this data corpus is consistently growing. And again, we're constantly validating that.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that accounts for results, if you've been doing this for a while, you know that everybody can hash a file and then compare that hash to a reputation database or a reputation lookup. And if it's been seen before, if somebody's got the reputation, then you get a result, right? But I think one of the important things to keep in mind is that saying no malware detected is not the same as saying no malware.
Yes,
right?
That's very true.
And so the fact that, hey, your hash lookup didn't turn up anything, well, golly gee shucks, that's a shame, but that's not conclusive. And so to Amy's point, one of the instances where we see that a lot is, look, if you zip something, you didn't change any of its capabilities, but you sure changed the hash. And so when you start to look at some of the solutions that they can't unpack and can't de-obfuscate, much less capture the behaviors, you start to see some ways to get past kind of some of your, let's just say, less robust solutions. So, hey, there's a question from Marcel. Hey, Marcel. With integrated sandboxes, yes, I'll show you.
Yep. We will.
Ooh, Yara. Oh, nice.
Oh gosh,
nice.
Andy loves to talk about Yara.
Yeah,
all
I
right,
don't have it teed up for this talk, but yeah, we got some great webinars about Yara. Yeah.
All right. So moving on, I'll try to get this. So get through a few more slides, and then we can look at the demo. But file coverage, that's another really big differentiator for us. We support now over 4,800 different file types. VirusTotal, I think our latest number was less than 150. And again, because of our proprietary binary analysis engine of file type, we can analyze file types of pretty much any file type across Windows, Mac OS files, Android, iOS. And so that's a huge differentiator for us. Also file, not just file type, but file size. So we support 2 gig files with our standard threat intelligence product, up to 10 gig with our analyze product. That's what Andy is going to be demoing for you guys. We also have a product called Spectre Detect that actually goes up to 100 gig. So that is, that is really important and a differentiator for us. VirusTotal limits their file size, I believe 650 meg. But one thing there I like to point out is, I've gotten feedback and heard from users that, anything over like 500 meg is actually going to lead to performance problems with VirusTotal. They have issues with large files. We don't. We are able to analyze those files, no problem. We're able to do it really quickly. And so, again, this goes back to our proprietary analysis engine. And, we are able to deconstruct those, multi-gig, multi-layered files. So let's face it, large complex files are the new normal. You need to be able to analyze those and, have reputation data on those and have intelligence on that. ISO files, installers, LLMs, VM disk images. So, the fact that those files are so complex and the size of those really does, mean that a lot of other tools aren't able to analyze those files, and get down to the actual, core base elements of those files like we can do. And so we like to say we can analyze what VirusTotal can't. We can analyze what most others can't.
Yeah, and one of my colleagues, not myself, but when he was working with one of our customers, they sent him a file that originally was taking them 30 minutes to scan with VT, and when they put it through our engine, it just took them a little under 2 minutes.
Yep.
And so that was it helped them with their productivity, with speed, efficiency. It was definitely a breakthrough for them.
Yep. Yeah, and I think size doesn't come up very often. I'll show you all the search, and we'll have some just monster files teed up. When it matters, it's kind of critical though. One of the scenarios that I've run into is we had a customer. Remember, guys, as a sales engineer before I came over to the dark side of marketing, but we had a customer that their entire factory floor, the control stack was on an OVA, and there was no way for them to understand what risks were being introduced. The security guy is a pretty paranoid guy. The manufacturer is, let's just say, overseas in a quasi unfriendly country, shall we say. And so that capability to say, okay, well, yeah, I've got an 8 gig OVA, and I can break that thing down and get a full analysis of all the pieces and parts. Punchline of that story is that the first iteration was shipping with it was basically a localized version of Metasploit. That was exciting. Hey, why do we need that in our factory control software? And also included Wireshark, which you can make an argument that that's a utility, but so the security guy pops this back to their vendor and is like, "Hey, gang, what are we doing? I'm not going to distribute this. We're not going live with this." And the next iteration that comes back, it's about 1.5 gigs smaller. Huh. and was missing the localized Metasploit, thankfully, which was nice, but still had the Wireshark and still no explanation. And so, analyzing huge files doesn't matter until it does, and I'll show you that we can do that. And so,
all right.
So there's my story. And Vosh, I don't see you smiling, so it must have been a lousy telling. Sorry, guys.
No, I like these anecdotes, this real customer feedback. I mean, that supports what we're talking about here. And another key issue that we've heard is, being able to easily integrate, these capabilities in threat intelligence. So, before I talk about the integration, I do want to talk a little bit more about our threat intelligence. We are providing that file and network threat intelligence, URLs, IPs, domains, and certificate intelligence. I don't know if, everyone does that. And so, we are covering that. We are able to see all the network infrastructure, be able to provide verdicts on that, in addition to our file threat intelligence. We do have, I talked about our static. So that when I say static, that is our advanced static, our proprietary binary analysis engine that every sample goes through. We also have a built-in sandbox, for dynamic analysis. And so, the fact is, because of how we break down these files, there's not, there are use cases where you need dynamic analysis, but what a lot of our customers have found out is, they're now, they can probably analyze over 90% of their files just with our static analysis engine without having to go into the dynamic analysis. But we do provide that, if you want to do that interactive analysis on files and URLs, you can do that. We have built-in sandbox capabilities. We also integrate with other third-party sandboxes. Privacy, again, big issue. When you're dealing with, nowadays it's critical. There's so much sensitive data, confidential data out there that, has gotten exposed in VirusTotal. Inadvertently, that people don't realize, that they have shared something or uploaded something that did contain sensitive data. And so, from the beginning, we have built our technology on privacy. And so we provide that privacy by default. There's private uploads, and of course you can download files as well. We also provide, advanced search and hunting, and not everybody needs it. Some, a lot of customers are just interested in, hey, I just want, these reputation verdicts. I need to know that they are accurate and fast. And then you have, other organizations with larger teams who want to really start, diving into the threat hunting, the Yara capabilities. And we provide that, and you're able to start search across our entire repository. And that repository, again, going back 16 years, it's fully searchable to our customers. And so we don't limit that in any way. So you have that really, valuable historical data. Of course, we've got, our targeted and industry-specific feeds. One feed I'd like to call out is our curated ransomware feed, very popular. We have platform-specific feeds, Mac OS, Linux, Windows, of course. CVEs and in-the-wild exploits. We have our allow list indicator. So, we're not just telling you something is bad. When we tell you something is good, you can be confident that that's good. And also, you can subscribe to real-time change alerts. So if that reputation changes, or that, any change in that metadata, we can alert you on that. And I think that's a really big deal. So I like to say that our intelligence really is orchestration ready. And we are able to easily integrate all of these, great intelligence capabilities into your existing security tools and security stack and workflows, with our API, our out-of-the-box integrations and connectors. So, and this is really important. You don't want to have that, if you are making a switch, you want to be able to integrate without any heavy lifting, without disruption. Any anecdotes there, Andy, Vosh?
Oh yeah, come on. Yeah, so one of the things that we're not mentioning here that did come up on the poll was customer support. I think, Vosh, you could probably talk about that better, but from my experience, look, background in IT operations, it's like nothing just shows up and you plug it in and it works. Right. And so if you've got, and I don't know anybody whose team is too big, right? Or their workload is too small, or their day is too long. So, when you're stuck and you need an answer, I think one of the things that helps is if you can get a freaking answer. And so customer support is something we talk about. I think, Thomas, I don't have an XOR integration teed up today. Slack back at you or chatted back at you, I think probably you want to follow up, and we can get that done for you. But today's not the day. And Marcel, we'll go ahead and we'll show you a couple of sandboxes here. But I think, look, it's the same problem, right? The team that is responsible for answers has got to have an answer, and they've got to be able to stand behind it. And it had better play nicely with everything else that they're putting to work. That's the bottom line, right?
Yep.
And I think, as Amy said earlier, look, VirusTotal, hey, it's been doing that for a long time, kind of, right? Remember, look, the fact that 0 out of 30 antivirus vendors say something's bad ain't what it says. What it says is no malware detected by 30 of these other companies, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit. But again, have an answer, be able to stand behind it. That's what it comes down to.
Very good point.
And piggybacking off of Andy, in the poll, I saw one of the bigger results besides cost was privacy being a big concern. And I'd like to just kind of talk about one of our healthcare customers who they told us they had loved VirusTotal for years, but they couldn't risk submitting sensitive patient-related files into a public cloud. And for them, privacy was a deal breaker. So with our solution, they were able to kind of scan the same files internally, keep all that data protected, and still get stronger verdicts than before. So for them, it wasn't really about cost. It was more so about compliance and trust and keeping that sensitive patient data private. And that's one of the big things we've been seeing as well.
A point I want to follow up on that is, again, we're offering that privacy by default, no extra charge. With VirusTotal Enterprise, you paid extra for the privacy. Even with Google Threat Intelligence, I think they allow a certain number of private uploads, but then for additional, you're paying. That's not the case with us. It's, we're allowing that by default. So we jump forward. I'll go back to the previous slide in just a second, but or we'll go back now. We can follow up on the other side in just a second. So definitive threat verdicts fast. I mean, that is what everyone wants. And we have proven we can do that. With our analysis engine and our multi-factor threat classification, and if you guys want to know about all that goes into that, we're happy to follow up with that. Andy can probably talk to that as well, but we're not just going off of what some sample AV vendors have said. We are providing this multi-mode AI-driven threat classification to produce those highly accurate results, less false positives. And so with that, another thing that I think is important, some people just want to know, hey, yes, is this good? Is this bad? That's what they want to know. But we also provide the context behind why we classified this as good or bad. And so we provide those additional details, that relevant context behind all of our verdicts. And so, human readable threat indicators, or what term we also use, explainable threat intelligence. So, it's not just a, black box of, hey, this is good, this is bad, just trust us. We are providing the validation behind that. And you can see that, and you'll see that in the demo.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and do the demo?
Yeah, I think we talked about the privacy. I think that, oh, no, one more slide, very important. Don't want to miss this. Since, price and the flexibility is really kind of the number one thing that the VT customers are coming to us now about. And we can give them that. Again, we allow that flexibility to start small and then scale as you need, but to cost effectively scale. And Vosh can talk to this, but we provide this API core bundle that that you can scale up your monthly usage, individual APIs and feeds. Again, kind of tailoring what you're looking for. Hey, do you if you're interested in this, particular, this specific platform feed, or, the financial, if you're in the financial industry, we have financial specific feeds. And so we can really tailor that, based on your needs. And so, we talk about our APIs and feeds. We also provide, and this is what Andy is going to demo this, if you're looking for this full-fledged malware analysis, threat hunting workbench, we've got that as well. And so some people want that. They want that nice user interface. Other people are like, I don't need another interface. Just give me the data and let me know that it's going to integrate into my tools. We understand that. And so again, we are providing these various solution options to meet varying needs and budgets. And Bosch, I'll let you speak to this, but we have, the customers that are coming to us have very different budgets. And so it is important to have this flexibility.
Yeah, no, I mean, what we've been seeing all around is everyone just has different usages. They might not need to hit the minimum threshold that's been out there. And so we're able to customize a lot of SKUs to your needs, exactly what you want to your actual usage. It's like what I've been seeing, some crazy minimum tiers people have been having to hit. And it's like going to a grocery store. You just want to make dinner for one person that night and go buy some lean ground beef, one packet of it. But the grocery store is trying to make you buy 50 pounds of lean ground beef, and you don't need that. So we're able to kind of customize all that up and fit your exact needs and kind of tailor to your solutions, which has been beneficial to a lot of the people on the smaller market size that we've been working with consistently, and kind of offer a lower barrier to entry.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at a lot of our recently closed won deals, and they really do run the gamut between, customer type, customer size, customer budgets. Some are buying starting with the very small bundle, or some are just scaling up very quickly. Some want that right out of the box. We want this full-fledged malware analysis, workbench. We need these threat hunting capabilities, and so we give you those options. And so again, very importantly, you can start small where you're comfortable, and then really grow as you need. And so I think I was reading one recently. It's one customer that came in, they kind of really did start at the lowest tier, and they've already said, oh, we do plan on scaling up very soon. And so that is something that we know is very important.
Cool. All right. And I'm going to say something that, okay, Vosh, go ahead and frown now. I'm glad you're on mute. Sales guys don't like when I say this, but we did have a customer, their MSSP needed to do a reputation lookup, basically just a hash lookup. And if you do that one at a time, and you've got thousands of hashes coming in, per second or per minute, that could just be expensive really quick. One of the things that we can do, and that is different, is if you can batch those into 100 or less, that counts as a single lookup. So in other words, hey, I've got 100 hash values that I need reputation for. Okay, great. You're getting thousands a second. Okay, write the automation, do the batch, one lookup, and it gets that 100, the reputation on the 100 gets charged as a single lookup against your quota. So thanks for not coming off mute and bashing on me, Vosh. But yeah, sales guys don't like that, but customers usually do. So, all right, we ready to demo?
Ready to demo.
Oh, Lord help us. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So can I share my screen? So somebody else is gonna have to look at Q&A and all that.
And since we can't easily demo, our APIs and feeds and the integrations, what it looks like in Splunk or XOR, we're providing a demo of Analyze because, basically it's giving you the visualization of all that, that we are able to provide that you can get through our APIs, but now you've got that nice interface.
Can y'all see my screen?
We can see
words
it.
of advice. Okay. So there's your famous words of advice. Go ahead. If you've got any other words of advice, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just get down to it. So this is a search of big files. You can see, like we talked about, right? Hey, there's some 7 giggers, 8 giggers out there. When we say private, what does private mean? This is what private means, right? There's a verdict, there's a hash, there's some time metadata that's available, but you are not getting into this thing and understanding what it is, where it came from, whose data is in it. So that's what private means. And that's a good example of what big means. So going to be moving kind of quickly. One of the other things that came up in the poll was I think a lack of context or inability to understand, really get down in the weeds, to paraphrase. So I do have some customers that dream in hex. Not all of them, and I certainly don't, but a few dream in hex. That, when we do that analysis, we make that hex available to you. Those guys, of course, get laughed at by the guys who dream in assembly language. Have at it. Have a great day. That's not my thing, right? But let's dive in a little bit more into, okay, that distinction between no malware found and, hey, this doesn't contain malware. So we're looking at a sample here. You can see the hash. Somebody's probably already copying this and putting it up on VirusTotal. 12 out of 27 of our partners say it's bad, right? So let me explain that a little bit. So we're not sharing data with them. We've got a farm set up, and we will submit for analysis, and we will get results back. Metadata may get shared, like we had talked about a minute ago, right? Hash value, verdict, timestamp. But in this case, what we're looking at is it's an ELF file, right? And I don't know why 15 out of 27 partners couldn't give you a verdict on it. But a lot of times, maybe it's just that capability, right? Hey, I don't know what ELF is. I don't know what it does, right? One of the other things, I don't think this is something that came up, but one of the things that
Yeah.
we've been getting a lot of good feedback on lately is we incorporated this ability to grab an AI summary. And so, especially if you've got a junior analyst, hey, what does this thing do? Well, here you go. You don't need to get the translation from your level 3 analyst. Here's what it does, right? And then I think there was another question about, okay, well, what about sandboxes? So out of the box, we integrate with several other sandboxes. FireEye and Joe are here. Also, oh gosh, go ahead.
Cape, we do Cape. I forget the other one, but yeah. So we fry those in yours, but again, we have our own cloud sandbox. So,
Yeah.
we can, if you don't have your own, I mean, and then you're probably, if you do have your own, you are probably paying a lot for it, but we have that built in.
Let's
Andy,
dive
what I
into
was going to
that.
do is, just kind of make a point. So with every sample that we analyze, you get this report summary, and you can also customize this layout based on your role. So I mean, Andy, if you were going to kind of scroll down and show the various components, or
That wasn't what I was gonna do. Do you want me to?
I could do. Uh, so we provide us great information, but depending on your role, you might not care about certain pieces, and so you can remove certain widgets, move them around, just rearrange to what you like. But yeah, so we're providing a lot of that right there on that report summary that then you can drill down in. I think one of my favorite, I do like the relationship graph. One of my favorite parts is how we caught this. Um, so I assume you're going to show that, Andy.
No, I'm gonna let you show it. What I was
You're
gonna
doing the
show.
demo. I am sorry.
I almost am. You're right. Hey, one of the things, right? So Amy had mentioned billions upon billions of samples. Let me put that in perspective. So it's about a 24 petabyte data lake of samples. One of the other traps in this industry, and one of the reasons why I told y'all I'd been a RL customer 3 times. a lot of different intelligence feeds. They'll purge stuff after about the 5-year mark, sometimes the 2-year mark, right? If you've got a 24 petabyte data lake of samples going back to 2009 and before, then when the bad guys roll out the stuff that they know has been aged out by a lot of threat intelligence vendors, you're still clean. The other thing, remember I showed you the hex, and when we do that recursive binary analysis, we're capturing, we call it an RHA stamp. Think of it as a fingerprint, right? The phone home subroutine for the North Koreans malware last week. Look, those guys are as lazy as anybody else, right? It's the same function calls, it's the same subroutine. We fingerprint that, and so when we look at something like this and we say, okay, I've got a file, 4.96 million other files have got a hit, a match on one of those component level fingerprints. Again, that tells you something. So hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a big deal. Obviously you can see, yeah, it will capture the family names, Cobalt Spider, stuff like that. One of the things that I'd been asked to do here was go ahead and show interactive. So we do interactive sandbox, right? And so the way we're going to do that, we'll just do array analyze. And this one's kind of goofy. And we'll forego the threat intelligence reanalysis. We'll just do an interactive.
And we are adding some new interactive capabilities in our next release. Breaking news.
Oh, cool. You know, I want to put you on the spot and see what's coming, but never mind. I'm not going to do that. So I think this will take exactly a while, depending on how busy the environment is, and if you remember this.
Well, while that's going on, you could show them the go back to the report.
I'm showing them what I want to show them. We can talk about it later, right? So I think one of the other things that comes up, right? So just info stealer pony again. It's what is it doing? This to me looks like something that is a duplicate tab, right? But I think when you start to look into this, and I'm going to go back and see if this thing's, yeah, it's happening. So here it comes, right? It's goofy. You can see it's growing on the desktop. This thing's spawning and it's giving you this pretty graphic and all that. So can you click in there and do stuff? Yeah, sure, but that doesn't show us with as much fun as this. So I'm going to stop that. It's going to ask me if I want to stop it. Okay, Amy, what else were you looking for?
It's your show. No, I was saying in the report summary, one of my favorite things is how we caught this. Going back to, again, the fact that, we provide these verdicts and then providing the context behind, this verdict. And so I like the screen. You don't have to show it if you don't want to.
Well, let me talk through it as long as we've got it up, right?
All right.
So why is it meaningful? Why does it matter? Remember, every team we work with, they've got to have an answer. They've got to be able to stand behind it. Hey, we say this thing's bad, not because it puts pretty purple unicorns on the screen, right? But why? Well, hey, look, you can see that for a while, this thing's had a bad reputation. You can see that over the past few months, this thing hasn't been popping up very much, right? Total unique 0. You can see though that 4.96 million RHA match, right? So almost 5 million files like this where there's a component that's identical, 5 million malicious, 1 suspicious, no goodware, right? Kind of a big deal. So when you start to think about why does that matter, everybody, the other thing that I think people get down to is, look, everybody's got false positives. when the rubber meets the road, you get down to the false positives and you try and figure out, well, what are the indicators of compromise? And that's kind of a big deal. Somebody had asked about Yara. I think the Yara matches. And by the way, go ahead and give a shout out in the chat if Yara is a 4-letter word in your house too. Okay, just kidding. But you can see the Yara matches, and let me get to the right tab here. And so for those of y'all that aren't really comfortable with Yara, this is kind of our Yara workbench here. I've got one rule teed up. If I click on it, I'm going to see all the hits for that rule. There are a lot of them, right? If I want to edit the rule, then you know, again, this is some pretty complex looking stuff, right? Hey, I've got, I don't know, this could be algebra, geometry, calculus, some other math class that I failed. Could be any one of those. In this case, it's just strings. But one thing you can do, so this rule that we're looking at is a rule that CISA put out when Hidden Cobra was running a campaign called Fall Chill. And you can see source URL for that. I don't have to understand Yara. I can go find it. I can copy and paste just like anybody else. A question that always comes up for Yara is, okay, I don't know what I'm doing with Yara. If I do something foolish, yeah, it can save you from yourself. That's an important deal. And then look, I want to be able to run it on everything that comes in, right? So I've got it enabled. I want to, so by default, all our stuff is public, but we do have customers that will submit with the caveat that it's okay for it to be public, right? So everything's private by default. Some customers, no, whatever, data needs to be free, right, at our university or whatever. You can run this rule against everything coming into our corpus. So if you're on the lookout for Hidden Cobra's Fall Chill campaign and it pops somewhere else, I think one of the questions that came up was, hey, what about downloading stuff? Let me get over there and find the right tab. That's not the right tab. Okay, I'm pretty sure it'll be the last tab. So I've got a search here, right? I want to show stuff that's classified by antivirus as goodware, but our classification is malicious. And I only want to see those publicly available samples, right? And so, when you say, hey, look, I need a sample of ransomware Baran, which is apparently our first hit. Hey, great. You've got that ability to fetch and analyze it, bring it over into your environment. You can then download the malware from there to test your other controls or whatever that looks like. So I think, wish we had more time. If you want to see more, I think probably makes sense to set up, have that conversation, have that demo. And hopefully we've touched on everything that people are kind of hoping to see here.
I want to see one more thing, Andy.
Well, you know what? If you're going to see, what do you got? What do you
Go
want?
to the report summary page.
Okay.
And again, we provide these report summaries again for files, URLs, IP domains. But go to the indicators on the left side.
So actually, I think that oh, hey, look at that. Let me go back here. One of the things that I liked the most, oh yeah, it's not that one, it's this one. So this ELF file, right? This thing's super fun. Hey, who's goodware checks to see if it's running in a sandbox? Very few. So what did you want to talk about?
No, I wanted to just, I think this goes back to, we provide these indicators. We also provide, the description of it, easy to understand descriptions of these indicators. That's what I wanted to show.
And they're stack ranked, right? So you can prioritize them. And if you're a MITRE shop and you want to see that in a MITRE format, that's all available to you too. So
yeah, and we can definitely, Andy is happy to do a deeper dive demo if you want. I'll volunteer him, but
not
I know
today, but thank you.
No, we've got a great team of essays that can do these demos. But we are coming up on time, so let's see, just kind of wrapping up here. yeah, if you want to go to, who's controlling the slides here? There you go. So why Reversing Labs? Hopefully we have convinced you here. Industry leading file intelligence, you know, the visibility and validation of our repository, our malware and goodware. Definitive threat verdicts within, you know, seconds. Easily integrate into your stack. Privacy by default at no additional cost there. Support when you need it without the upselling. And transparent, predictable pricing, no vendor lock-in. And again, that flexibility with our, you know, our solutions to meet the different budgets and needs. And so, kind of circling back full circle, yes, we do have an alternative for VirusTotal. Everything you need at a price you can afford. Yep. All right, in next slides, we've got some additional resources. Again, we're going to provide these slides to you guys. This is the customer story I was speaking about with WireSpeed, that managed detection and response provider. And I believe the next slide, we have a link to the report, which I think also if you go to the customer story on our site, you'll see a link to the to that report that his company did, where he's evaluating, I think like 5 different vendors. So it's a good read. Moving on, we have some upcoming events here. You can check it out. You can check out all of our upcoming webinars on demand on our website. And I think with that, we are at time. Am I right? Let me check. Do we have any we didn't leave a lot of time for Q&A, but Andy, you did a good job of addressing questions as you went, so thank you. If you have follow-up questions that we did not get to, we will look through the questions, but we're happy to follow up with you on that. Again, if you want that personalized demo, Andy does a great one. He's kind of he's out of that business now. He's not doing the SA STAR security and SE stuff anymore. All of our SAs are great, and we can walk you through these demos. And if you want to see certain integrations, like I said, you know, with Splunk, XOR, or you know, different SIM store tools, we can show you that as well. All right. Do we have any pressing last questions? I think, Andy, you're monitoring that, and I appreciate you doing that through all this.
Yeah, I think last one. So Marcel, is it possible to run YAR rules over captured memory? I've never been asked that question. So Marcel, I tell you what, I'm going to table that. I think we've probably got your email address or whatever. Ask that in a follow-up call, and somebody smarter than me should be able to answer that for you. I think the answer is yes, but like I said, I've never asked that. I've never been asked that before. So.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
That was a tough one. All right. Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Vosh. And thank you, everyone who joined this webinar. We hope it has been informative. I know we didn't have a lot of time to go through the demo, but we can, you know, happy to follow up with anyone. And again, we'll be sending out these webinar slides, and we'll have a transcript to this. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Good
you,
job,
everyone.
Amy. Good job, Vosh.
See you later.
See you.